Welcome to At Issue. As always, we thank you for joining us. My name is H. Wayne Wilson. In 2008, just the 1 year when the economic downturn occurred, towns in rural America lost 300,000 manufacturing and production jobs. 300,000. That's not in the big cities. That's not in the Peorias or Bloomingtons. That's in rural America in 1 year. We're going to talk about small towns and volunteerism and how they can turn things around. And jobs is part of that problem, but we're going to have that conversation with 4 members of small communities. And let me introduce them. First of all, Diane Hahn is here. Diane is a volunteer whose business is located in Mackinac, although I have to say, you don't live in Mackinac, but your heart is in Mackinac.
I live in Mackinac part of the time, and I have a place away from the business there too.
Thank you for joining us,
yes,
Diane.
thank you.
Also here is Tom Haas. Tom is a Tremont volunteer, and we'll be talking about the Turkey Festival, of course, and much more. With us is Glenn Miller. Glenn is in Roanoke, and he is a volunteer at their festival, and we'll talk about the struggles there in just a moment. Thank you for being with us.
Absolutely.
And also with us is Rollin Wright. Rollin is in Farmington. So, with the 300,000 lost jobs, that means there might not be as many businesses in, say, Farmington or Roanoke. Do you see lack of jobs as having an impact on volunteerism in your town?
The biggest thing that I've observed, instead of us having local business and individuals in town, Farmington's kind of become a bedroom community. So at 6:30 in the morning, there's this mass exodus. They're all going to Peoria, and then they tend to come back home at 6 o'clock, and then they're back in the community.
So what kind of problems does that present to you?
Well, we also are a volunteer fire protection and a rescue program, and it makes it tough for us to find members that are in town during the day that are available to make the calls. So Tom's seeing the same thing in Tremont, as is every department in Central Illinois, is the dedication from its members to attend.
And you're a member of the Volunteer Fire Department?
I'm in my 36th year, yes.
And Tom, you're a member of the Volunteer Fire Department in Tremont?
Yes, sir. I've been involved with the fire department for about 9 years now, and the rescue services, the ambulance, for 15 years.
So do you have a similar situation as you do in Farmington?
As far as volunteers, I know that we have experienced similar situations across the board, whether it be civic organizations, whether it be even some church volunteer opportunities, and the fire and rescue. It can be difficult to find enough people that you can fill all the slots that are necessary. We are starting to see an uptick in some of the small businesses move into Tremont, which has been good. But that's still kind of in its infancy. And so we've got to backfill those ranks on the rescue squad, the fire department, even Turkey Festival committees, things like that. So we're seeing similar, hopeful for improvement.
We've been talking about fire departments, volunteer fire departments, but is this true across the board? Do you see problems in Roanoke with other organizations and finding people who have time to dedicate to volunteerism?
Yes, absolutely. I feel that we live in a very busy society. As you said, a lot of people travel from small towns into your cities, Peoria, Bloomington, especially living in Roanoke, where we do. We're kind of in the middle of Peoria and Bloomington. So a lot of people who live there now, they live there too because we're central. The husband might work in Bloomington and the wife might work in Peoria. So they both might leave in the morning and come home at night. So then their children have activities, and so to get them to volunteer into something extra is kind of a hassle for them because of it.
What about kids? It seems to me that we have so many extracurricular activities associated with school that didn't exist,
Right.
at least when I was growing up. We didn't have athletics in junior high school. We
Right.
didn't have traveling teams, et cetera.
Yeah, I think there's such an emphasis on sports in our society through the schools and even through private teams. And we had discussed earlier before we got here the different cheerleading squads and all kinds of other activities that kids are involved in. And again, that just adds to the time component of parents don't have enough time to go around when weekend commitments overtake the whole weekend with having the kids at all these ball games or traveling teams or different things. So it's not just both parents are working and commuting, but then their weekend time is very limited to help out with volunteer activities. And even I think churches even are suffering. Churches used to be a bastion of volunteerism, I think, in their communities, and even then that's gotten superseded with some other things going on.
I think there are people that want to volunteer in their community, but because they're torn so many different areas with children and jobs, they don't have the dedication. They don't get how important it is that they give it 110%. I just don't see that.
Or the long, looking on the long view of if we don't support some of these things, are we going to have to go? Small towns have always existed on volunteer fire and volunteer ambulance service. Are we going to have the state funding that soon because there's not going to be volunteers? And I think, Mackinac, we have, and probably all the towns actually, I mean, you have a core of people that are farmers that are doing work in town and that might be available to be, during the day for different things. But then you have the commuters to State Farm and to Peoria to different hospitals and Catton and other businesses. So having that pool of people around during the day is a thinning thing, and that's a question the state's going to have to answer, or the communities. Do we need to pay these people to have people available to help? And we all know where the funding is, so that's makes it even more. We need some consistency.
Let's talk about festivals, because communities quite often are recognized for festivals. And maybe one of the more famous ones is the Tremont Turkey Festival. That one's been successful for how long, Tom?
I can't begin to tell you when it was started because that was before I got to town. One of the things that I do know is it was started because they needed to come up with a way to provide some funding for the public pool. And that really gave the community an opportunity to gather around one sole goal and one sole focus and really put back with volunteer hours, reinvesting that as dollars back into the community. And it has grown from that point now to where the Betterment Association, which is kind of the governing body of disbursement of funds, has options across the gamut of where some of those funds can go. And the pool is still a good focus, but I know the ambulance, other agencies have benefited as well.
So it's not just the enthusiasm and volunteering because it puts Tremont on the map, but it's a fundraising mechanism.
It really is. I know it has been. I don't think the goal is to put Tremont on the map. I think the goal is to be able to have a festival and to invite people to town to come and share and enjoy what we take for granted sometimes every day living in the community, to open those doors and bring people in and experience that as our guest for the day.
And Tom, don't you think too that, like you were saying, that festival started with the focus on let's rally around and fund the pool building, and I think that's the real key thing I see with volunteers who, we facilitate things at the vineyard there too. It's a focus of everybody knows why they're doing it. It's not a broad brush of, well, we want to help the town or we want to do this. It's we want to achieve this goal. And that tends to, people can rally around that. And I think that's been maybe part of the Tremont success is everybody kind of knows what they're focusing on and that they trust the Betterment Association to disperse the funds and help everybody, not just focus on one thing,
I definitely can agree with that. I feel like we live in a society of, and I'll be the one to say it here as the young person, of awards. And so people are willing to maybe do something to see a benefit out of it, more than just an event happening in the community, but to see the pool or to see something take place afterwards with the funds that they helped raise. I volunteer with Easter Seals as well as I had mentioned earlier in our conversation. And one way that we can get volunteers with that is, we allow them to remain at the event for, after their shift or something, or we, do a little something extra for them after they volunteer. And now that's not everybody, but especially the young kids. That's a way that we can get the high schoolers to come and kind of help volunteer, is to say, if you come and help us out for a couple hours, we'll give you your community service hours for high school, or, we'll give you a form, something of that sort. So they're coming and they're going to volunteer for us, but we're going to fill out their paper for them or give them what they're looking
They
for.
get something out of it.
They're
Yes.
looking for recognition.
Kind of.
I want to point out that when I talked to Tom, and I did not know Tom before the program, and I called him up and through some other people who said, you need to talk to Tom, and he said, I really don't want to go on the show. I don't want the recognition. He's just a volunteer. He agreed to come on the program after learning that we weren't going to give him recognition, so we're not going to recognize you for your volunteerism. But is that something that is different, that people are looking for recognition, the young people?
I don't know if I'm capable of providing a direct answer, and I'll try to keep my personal opinions maybe out of the direct conversation, but I do know one of the things we talked about right at the beginning when we met tonight was I don't think people understand when you're going to get involved as a volunteer, the level of commitment that it may end up taking. And some volunteer opportunities are, the 4-H club. Let's grab some garbage bags, let's go hit the roadside, and let's pick up trash for a mile and take that back. Well, that's great, because the commitment level is low, and you've got energy, and you can enthuse those kids with this project. But there are some volunteer opportunities where the commitment level is intense. And it may not be 10 minutes, it may be 10 months. We've talked about some of the festival planning, and you talk about rescue calls. You go on a rescue call, it's not just a rescue call. It's preparation for the call, all the follow-up and paperwork afterwards. And I don't think people can get a full understanding of the level of commitment that may be required.
We are required by the same requirements that Peoria Fire to run, AMT. We're all EMTs, we're first responders. We've got continuing hours we've got to keep up. We're required that the paid departments are paid to take care of doing it. And so you're right. The hours that we put in on a fire or a rescue, it isn't even a third of the time we put in.
But that's the extreme of volunteerism.
Yes, it
You
is.
could have volunteerism at any level with, say, what used to be the Italian festival, now it's Summerfest. By the way, we were talking about festivals and we kind of got sidetracked, but why the change from Italian to summer?
We saw a downturn of people attending the Italian Fest, and there was no real willing to change it. So they created the Summer Festival group, which is a young generation of people to move it from the Jacobs Park to the downtown area. They're also trying, like any festival, they're trying to make a little bit of money on it. They would like to at some time have a carnival along with it, but the cost associated, they're working on it. After their involvement for 2 to 3 years, they're tired of all the work they've put into it, and they're ready to pass the torch and to try and find somebody that wants that torch. We're very fortunate in Farmington. The first 2 October weekends is Spoon River Drive. We'll have 30,000 people into Farmington. But years ago, it was church groups, it was the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, local business that manned all the tents, and the money stayed in the community. But now it has gotten so commercial. We have a mass entrance of RVs and campers from Wisconsin, Minnesota. They're the ones that are running the tents. The people in town don't do it anymore.
Local control is gone.
It's gone.
You mentioned that it's difficult to maintain the enthusiasm for Italian Fest, now Summerfest. You have a similar situation in Roanoke.
Correct. Yes, with our festival, I feel that we hold it in our business district, and it's kind of a little bit of a nuisance for some of the businesses in the area. And so I feel like we struggle to really get a good community support there, because it shuts down kind of the heart of our community for 4 or 5 days. And so it's not talked about to begin with on a good level from some of the business owners. And so that starts negatively, and then it just trickles down to community members.
You're a business owner.
Yes,
You have a floral shop.
absolutely.
And what are your thoughts on the impact of the festival?
I love it, and so did the previous owner of the shop. It is a nuisance. It definitely slows down the foot traffic during the day of that week. But anything for a small community that might bring in 30 new people into the community to see my storefront is worth it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I view it as a great thing, because I want to see anything happen in that community that's going to bring somebody into town.
Let's talk about business involvement in volunteerism.
Yeah.
Diane, you own Mackinac Valley Vineyard.
Yeah, our family. Yeah.
And the family does,
Yeah.
but and I have to imagine that where you're located, you're probably getting a lot of requests for
Yeah.
volunteer help.
Well, we have, it's an interesting business to be in, because we do well with it, but it gives us an opportunity to give back to the community. And I think that's, when you were talking about these out-of-town things coming in and the money leaving the community, small business is the heart of any community and of this area.
Definitely.
And the money needs to stay in the community. And what we try to do is, hopefully building on the success and the way we can, use the business to help others is really important to our philosophy, really. So it's nice that we can, like, our event that's coming up is Special Olympics for the area is gonna, now they're gonna have a lip sync competition. We've had a group from Peoria called METEC that did a bike race out there for several years when Cheryl was in charge of it. To raise funds. We had the Lutheran Church ladies doing a fundraising thing in October. But all those things we try to, at no cost to them, let them use our facility, use our tables, our chairs, whatever, so that they can keep more of what they need for their organization. Our Lions Club in Mackinac is great. They come and volunteer at our big events and sell concession food, and that's a great fundraiser for them.
Can it come a little overwhelming though, because you're running a business?
It's a challenge. I won't say it isn't, but you have to find a balance. And so there's organizations that we do a little bit more funding with, as far as donating larger ticket items. But we try to give something to everyone, even small fundraisers for schools or different smaller church groups. If we give a gift certificate and a set of logo glasses or some kind of a thing to support them. Because we're about 30 minutes from everybody in this area, and out Route 9. We reach Pekin, Lincoln, Bloomington, Normal, Peoria, East Peoria, Washington, Morton, everybody you can think of in that circle. But it's a challenge, but we try to meet it and try to help different parts of the community, because it's and I think it's like you said with your shop too. We meet a lot of different people through those charity events that we wouldn't meet otherwise. And we try to be a family-friendly place, and a place that you can come out and, of course, have a glass of wine, but you can bring your family to a concert, or bring your family to our grape stomp, or come to a murder mystery, or just something fun.
But you're also a local
But we're
merchant.
local. All
and
right.
that helps.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about local merchants.
Sure.
Are there fewer local merchants than, say, 20 years ago?
Without a doubt.
So there's more demand on those who remain?
That stay and have also got another day every day they get older. They're not wanting to be involved. We had some issues in our downtown where a good portion of the storefronts were empty. We involved with community residents and business folks, other government agencies. We also looked through the University of Illinois Extension Service. We redid in 2012 our comprehensive plan. This time we involved everybody that has a stake in the community. And it took us a little over a year to get that comprehensive plan done. But we met once a month. Everybody was given a committee or an area to research information and bring back. At least now everybody in the community is all on the same page and has the same wants and change that they'd like to see done. One thing that we created out of it was a community and economic development commission.
Has that improved volunteerism as a result?
Yes, it has for the community, as long as they don't get burnt out at all the hours.
Tom shakes his head yes, as long as
Yes,
they don't
it
get
does.
burned out. And he immediately, a problem in Tremont?
I'm not going to say that's a problem, but I understand exactly what he's saying. Tremont's got a winning communities organization was started back in '07. And it was started because there were certain needs that were not able to be filled by some of your government agencies, some of your fire rescue, some of your existing organizations that were in place. And some of these were, actually all of them, were a way to improve the facade of Tremont. When people drive through town, what was it that they saw? Now that has expanded since then to being the liaison, the facilitator for all of the other civic organizations in town, bringing on board the village government, being involved with the Lions Club, the Turkey Festival Committee, the Betterment Association, the Park District, police, fire, rescue, your garden clubs, your local library, to be able to, I guess, function as the hub of the wheel, so that when you have a need for a volunteer, say the Park District has got a tree that blew over in the storm, well, we can reach out to the rest of our citizens and say, we have a need through our newsletter for volunteers to come in. And now we can have some of the garden clubs, some of the Lions clubs, some of the 4-H come in and work together to that one goal that you had talked about earlier.
With that in mind,
Correct.
the winning communities, in the few moments that we have left, if each of you could spend 30 seconds on your best recommendation on what might improve volunteerism in a small community. Diane?
I think just, again, get the input of the whole, get the input of the community, however you can do that. Involve, those take those opinions to heart and come up with a plan. And maybe the focus is one thing, and it's not a broad brush, but it's the one thing everybody can get behind and focus on and put their time and toward. And then make it a realistic goal, though, so that everybody can see something tangible that came out of it that was good, even if it's a very small improvement to the town, and then build on that. I think that's
Start small.
key. Start small and build and focus.
Tom?
To me, it's an individual and accountable call to action. It's got to start with the individual. You cannot wait for problems to fix themselves from the top down. You've got to start from the bottom up. I mentioned a quote earlier. John F. Kennedy asked, not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And that goes same for your church, for your community, for your park district, for whatever. And the other quote that I've lived my life by is, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. So it's a call to action. If if you can, instill that in your kids and just bring your family together to focus on those goals and improve the community, both residential and economic development.
Glenn?
I agree. We just kind of have to set goals and give good reasons for volunteers to come forward and make the goals known, as we're doing in Roanoke at the meeting in August, our last call meeting for the festival. You know, we're hoping people step forward. You know, we've given them a reason and a time to come forward and to step up and volunteer, and hopefully that brings them out and willing.
That date is August the 28th for volunteers who are interested in helping maintain the festival in Roanoke. And to you, Rollin.
I would not take my hat off to Peoria and the bigger municipalities around, but I remember a television show from when I was a child that was Mayberry. And if we could turn our communities back into Mayberry, where the children and the family and everybody contribute, that would be a good community to live in.
And I will add one final note. Glenn learned volunteerism. He's 24 years old. He learned volunteerism from his family.
Yep.
And with that, say thank you to Glenn Miller and to Diane Hahn for helping us in the conversation about small town volunteerism, and also to Rollin Wright and to Tom Haas. We appreciate it, and best of luck to Mackinac, to Roanoke, to Tremont, and to Farmington. And we'll be back next time with another edition of At Issue. Join us then.